Hello and welcome to Herald TV's program Goa Wants To Know. This is a special program that we are having on the occasion of International Consumer Rights Day, which is 15th of March. Now this year the theme for the day, the Consumer Rights Day, is clean energy transitions. Very often in a capitalist society, then profit motive is the uppermost in the minds of the corporates and the goods manufacturers. Although there has been a lot of legislation, and presently we also have corporate social responsibility, where companies are forced to spend a part of their profit in ensuring the betterment of society, the attempts to hoodwink the consumers continues. So therefore, today on this occasion of World Consumer Rights Day, we have a very special guest, Mr. Walter Viera, who is the Chairman of Consumer Education and Research Society. Mr. Viera, welcome to our program, Goa Wants To Know.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah. So we are all the more excited because you are a son of the soil. And our first question to you would be, why when you are originally hailing from Kunkoli, why did you choose to work in Ahmedabad, where your society is doing good work?
Well, it's a certain destiny. I think about 15 years ago, I was a consultant to Tata Consulting Services.
Okay.
And the managing director of TCS at that time was a man called Kohli,
Okay.
Dr. F.C. Kohli.
Yeah.
In fact, he was the kind of founder, chairman of TCS,
Okay.
and built the whole foundation for a very successful
Yeah.
organization today.
Yeah.
His wife, Mrs. Kohli, happened to be the chairman of the Consumer Education and Research Society.
Okay.
And 15 years ago, she decided to approach me.
Okay.
Instead of doing only marketing consulting for TCS,
Yeah.
to also extend a helping hand
Okay.
to
Okay.
CRC.
Okay.
Because she said, we do a lot of work,
Yeah.
but we don't know marketing.
Okay.
We don't know how to sell our causes.
Okay.
And we don't know how to collect money to support the causes.
Okay.
So can you come on and be a trustee
Okay.
and help us?
So that was the beginning of your joining
Association with
Consumer Education
and
Research
Research
Society.
Society.
Now, can you briefly tell us about this Consumer Education and Research Society, and what does it do for the consumers, and because it is a very important area that you are working in?
Actually, I'll just refer to it as CRS.
Yeah.
And CRS is among possibly the oldest consumer body
Okay.
in the country.
Yeah.
It was started by a man called Shah, Manubhai Shah,
Okay.
about 40 years ago,
Yeah.
with the help of the Lalbhai Group
Okay.
of industries
Yeah.
in Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
And the Lalbhai Group gave him a lot of land and building
Okay.
and support
Yeah.
to start this CRC.
Yeah.
He did a lot of very significant work.
Yeah.
Manubhai Shah went out of his way to build a huge operation.
Yeah.
He got the Ford Foundation, he got Rockefeller Foundation
Okay.
to support with the finances to set up the drugs laboratory,
Okay.
the food laboratory,
Yeah.
the consumer durables laboratory. All meant crores of rupees even at that time.
This is a consumer rights body, but it is a huge organization with all these divisions.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that is why it could involve itself with so many activities.
Yeah.
It is let's put it this way, it is a 360-degree consumer organization.
Yeah.
It does, supports consumer causes.
Yeah.
It handles consumer complaints.
Yeah.
It has a 24-hour helpline.
Yeah. Very much.
It has a mediation department.
Okay.
It has a legal department. We
Yeah.
try and do as much as possible through mediation.
Okay.
Only if we have to go to court, we go to court.
Yeah.
We do comparative testing of foods, drugs, consumer durables, so that if anybody is buying a refrigerator or an air conditioner,
Yeah.
he can go to our magazine and check out what is the best product in the category.
So you profile these products,
Yes, yes.
you profile the pricing and all this
Everything.
stuff. Okay.
And under different categories, the best product in the category, or the best value for money,
Okay.
or the best among lower priced products,
Yeah.
all this is done.
Okay.
And we have a magazine called Grahak Sati.
Okay.
This is in 6 languages:
Oh, fantastic.
English, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Malayalam,
Okay.
and it is an e-magazine.
Okay.
So, and we give it free.
And it is sought after by most people in Gujarat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And partly in Maharashtra. But we want to take this throughout the country because it's free.
Yeah.
And it's weekly.
Okay.
Every week a product is featured and some service is featured, and consumer news is given, not very long,
Okay.
just 4 pages,
Yeah.
but keeps you up to date and makes you part of the consumer movement.
Yeah.
These are all the activities of CRC. We conduct training programs for students
Yeah.
in banking, in collaboration with the government Ministry of Environment.
Yeah.
We run programs for government officers on the environment,
Okay.
and so on and so forth. There's always some activity going on.
Okay, so it is very apt that we have you here on our program for Consumer Rights Day. So, can you explain to our viewers what is the significance of this World Consumer Rights Day? So, this year we have the theme Clean Energy Transition.
That's right.
So, what is the significance of this day?
Actually, the significance is just to keep the whole world reminded about this cause, the cause of the consumer. Because as you said earlier in your introductory remarks, that everybody talks about good business and they talk about good profit and they talk about being fair to shareholders and to employees. At the end of the day, they forget many times that everything is being done with the consumer in mind. Everything, it should be consumer centric,
Yeah.
not shareholder centric,
Yeah.
not employer centric,
Okay.
not CEO centric.
Yeah.
So this, unfortunately, we forget. So this is a day like this brings us to the ground and makes us realize, let's say, remember that we are here in the interests of the consumer. And every year, therefore, they change the theme that this will be a special area of concern. And today's special area of concern is sustainability.
Yeah.
And we know what's happening even in Goa, the haze
Yeah.
that I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've just come from Delhi to Goa from Delhi.
Yeah.
And Delhi was worse, of course.
Yeah.
But I thought I would find clean air in Goa,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Bombay day after tomorrow,
Okay.
and again it won't happen,
Yeah.
because Bombay has now beaten Delhi
Yeah.
as the most polluted
city.
in the country.
Okay. So then moving on to our next question, so which is related to the first one, does the government of India have a lot of focus on consumer rights? What is your perception? Because you have worked over the years with in the corporate sector with regard to interacting with the government, and now as your role as the chairman of CERS. So what is your perception of the emphasis laid by the government of India on consumer rights?
The government of India and the state governments do pay considerable lip service to consumerism and the rights of the consumer.
Yeah.
How much actually happens, one doesn't know.
Okay.
You see the state of roads in Goa,
Yeah.
and you know how consumer-centric they are.
Yeah.
You see the state of electricity power in Goa,
Yeah.
and then you know how consumer-centric
Yeah.
the government is in
Yeah.
these terms. So therefore, what is preached is not always what is practiced.
Yeah.
one wishes that in course of time, as we go along, both state governments and central government will become more and more and more sensitive to the needs of the ultimate consumer.
Now, in terms of allocation of portfolios, when you say an ex-minister has been allocated consumer rights portfolio, do you think that justice is done in the division of portfolios merely in terms of the quantum of portfolios which are also clubbed together with a minister who is holding those portfolios? He also has, in addition to all those portfolios, also consumer rights as.
Because consumer rights is considered to be a junior portfolio. It is, by the way, a minister has 2 or 3 probably major portfolios like Mr. Goyal has just now.
Yeah.
How can he devote sufficient time to something that in the scheme of things is a little less important?
Yeah.
Others are much bigger and more urgent.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have this problem. And unless cognizance is taken of this, things won't change.
Yeah.
It's only for consumer organizations like ours to push the government, keep on going to Delhi, keep on reminding them, keep on chasing, that something gets to happen.
Okay.
Like CRC, we run very successful programs for managers and inspectors from the Ministry of Environment.
Okay.
Every 3 months there is a program that is run by CRC for the ministry.
Okay.
It shows some collaboration. It became successful, so the government now reminds us that let's have the next program after 2 months.
Okay.
We don't have to tell them.
Okay.
This is the kind of...
So they are sensitized basically
right.
because of an initiative which has
right.
been taken by a civil society organization.
Unfortunately, it should not have been necessary,
Yeah.
but I'm afraid this is the only way that works.
Okay. Now you have worked in this area, I think, for about 10 years or so?
Yes, about 15 years.
About 15
I've
years.
been chairman for 11 years.
Okay. And you know, what is your perception with regard to developing countries? Do developing countries have a greater problem because of this linkage between literacy and consumer rights?
Of course they do. You are absolutely right. You know, when I was telling you that in UK people will not buy a mobile phone or a refrigerator without checking past issues.
So they are very particular and they are heightened in terms of consumer awareness.
That's right. Why? Because level of education is very high.
Yeah.
People know that they should go to the consumer magazine to check out for a really dispassionate review of what is good or what is best value for money.
Okay. So that says 2 things. One is the awareness levels of the consumers and the little homework which they do before buying products and asserting their rights as consumers. And secondly, also the work which is done by consumer rights organizations to enlighten the people on certain products.
That's right. Yeah. So there is, as you rightly said, there is an absolutely direct link between level of education and the consumer movement.
Yeah.
The higher the level of education, or the greater percentage of level of education, the greater will be the, let's say, emphasis on the rights of the consumer, like Scandinavian countries. Highly literate in terms of 98%. They don't have the problem that India has, which is at 60% literacy. And the same with Southeast Asia and so on.
Absolutely.
So what can we do except to put the emphasis on education? Not just for the sake of consumerism, but for everything, for better health, for better employment chances, for better skill training, everything.
Now, you know, there are some products, like for example, there are intimate products which have to do with increase in height, you know, about reducing your belly, reducing your weight, or even other things with regard to personal body and enlargements and all that. Now, it is not possible to make a noise about the ineffectiveness of such products and what they promise. Now, how do you act in such a way, in such a case?
The consumer will be very reluctant to bring this into focus in the public. Because when you talk about, you know, breast enlargement or paunch reduction or increasing hair growth
Yeah.
on the skull. These are not things that people like to talk about socially.
Yeah.
Or even privately between friends, there is a great reluctance.
Yeah.
Here, I'm afraid, government and consumer organizations have to come in with a heavy hand. I remember years ago, maybe about 30 years ago, there was a company that started in Bombay, and it started with increasing height.
Okay.
The secret of increasing height. Good fee. And then they send you the brochure and send you some equipment for increasing height. Most people did not increase even by 3 centimeters.
Yeah.
But by that time, lakhs of product had been sold.
Okay.
By the time the FDA issued a notice to the company, they had discontinued the product and gone on to women's breast development
Okay.
for better figures.
Okay.
This went on for some couple of years or little, and they made a lot of money. By the time the FDA came heavily on them, they'd moved from there to memory development
Okay.
for children.
Yeah.
And they could improve their memory by these exercises, this, that, and the other. Collected all that money by the time the FDA came. So by the time the FDA came to chase them, they had already become, the two partners had become billionaires.
Okay.
And then they got out of business.
Which country is this?
India.
India. I see.
India.
Okay.
With headquarters in Bombay.
Bombay. I see.
That is the technique that is followed.
But you feel that there is no solution to this, or is it the government has to do strict enforcement?
That's right. Strict enforcement, heavy penalty, and fast enforcement.
Yeah.
Not waiting for 6 months, 8 months. In the meantime, the show goes on and they carry on.
Now, very often in such cases, people are misled because of celebrity advertising. Although they may not believe that, you get hair growth or you are able to increase your height or, do any improvement as far as your body is concerned. But celebrity advertising, especially in this area and many other areas, even to buying certain products which are maybe not so desirable, or people may have a 50-50 feeling about it. But because of celebrity advertising, people buy this product. What do you think of celebrity advertising?
Let me put it, 70% is a big scam.
Okay.
Because most celebrities have not even tried the product
Yeah.
that they are endorsing.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine Mr. Bachchan endorsing a cement
Yeah.
variety. Has he used it? Is he an engineer? Is he a builder? Is he an interior decorator? No.
Yeah.
He is Mr. Bachchan, and therefore he has a large following.
Yeah.
And when he says, buy this cement and this will last you for 50 years,
Yeah.
a lot of people fall into the trap.
So
and
basically,
buy.
it is misleading.
It is misleading.
Daylight misleading.
I'm so glad that after so many decades, the government has finally woken up, and now they have made it very difficult for celebrities to endorse products, and if they are found to be false, there will be a penalty.
Okay.
But frankly, according to me,
So this has been implemented now.
well, just now, yes.
Okay.
It has been implemented, but according to me, the penalty is very light.
Okay.
The penalty should be so heavy that it is an example for all other celebrities
Yeah.
and prospects who are thinking about this
Okay.
for easy money.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it won't change very much.
Yeah. Now, you have also, in our discussions, you have also mentioned this concern about false pricing. Can you elaborate on this topic for the sake of our viewers?
False pricing is really a question of, let's put it this way. There is presumed false pricing. There is a pricing which is not false but makes you difficult to compare.
Okay.
Like, for example, I kept telling manufacturers, please, on a packet, when you are selling an 85-gram packet of whatever chuda or whatever,
Yeah.
also say 100 grams equivalent so much.
Yeah.
So that whenever you compare two packets of
Yeah.
competitors,
Yeah.
you are able to easily compare without using the calculator on your mobile,
Yeah, absolutely.
which most salespeople, buyers will not do.
Yeah.
So you get taken for a ride.
Yeah.
You don't know that actually in that 85-gram packet, you are being charged more
Okay.
pro rata
Yeah.
than in 100-gram packet.
Yeah.
So they purposely made it 75-gram, 85-gram.
Yeah.
This is one kind of pricing,
Yeah.
which is taking consumer for a ride.
Yeah.
But it's not false.
Okay.
The other is actually changing the price.
Okay.
Now that is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, there are somewhere I read a report saying that people are changing the price of some ice cream
In Goa.
in Goa,
Yeah.
which is brought in from outside.
Yeah.
And quietly they change the price from whatever 80 to 120,
Yeah.
and it is being sold on carts and people are buying, and
Yeah.
now that is cheating.
Yeah.
That is cheating.
But this is also done by some supermarkets who put their own label
That's
and price.
right. Correct.
Unless they reduce the maximum price, that is not helpful to the consumer.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they are also taking advantage, and that is also wrong.
Okay.
Certainly, it will not help the prestige of the supermarket.
And what do you think about surrogate advertising? Because the government has banned advertising of certain products like liquor, cigarettes, or pan masala. You
yes.
know. But still, then instead of liquor, they will advertise some glasses or some playing cards. So all the signages are there like that. Even TV advertisements are like that. What do you think of that?
It's absolutely wrong. And the fault is of the government. You have to have fast penalty and deterrent penalty, both.
Okay.
Unless you do that, this won't change. This hasn't changed for 50 years. This has been going on for 50 years. This is not a new technique.
Yeah.
And it will continue to go on as long as the penalty is mild.
Yeah.
And takes a long time
Okay.
before you're caught.
Yeah.
So it's like, many other things like we have of, speed driving
Yeah.
beyond the limit, etc. And then you are given a penalty of 500 rupees.
Yeah.
So you pay the 500
It is not a
and
deterrent.
keep speeding again as soon as you get back into the car.
Yeah.
That's exactly what is happening here.
Yeah.
CRC, we have given so many complaints to the Advertising Council
Yeah.
of India, which is in Bombay,
Yeah.
and we send them all the details.
Okay.
By the time the Advertising Council of India takes cognizance of this, asks for a report from the manufacturer, then analyzes the report, then gets back to CRC, something like 8 months have gone.
Oh.
In the meantime, their advertising budget is over,
Yeah.
and they have completed the campaign.
Oh.
So they couldn't care less when you tell them, stop the campaign.
Yeah.
They've already stopped it.
Okay.
So the whole thing has become very silly.
Yeah. So, we are running out of time. In the last question, I would like to ask you, since you hail from Goa, what is the roadmap of consumer rights that you would suggest for Goa? I mean, you also mentioned that this would apply to the rest of India as well.
Yes. I'm very appreciative of a man called Roland Martins,
Yeah.
who I've known him, I think, ever since I got into the consumer movement
Okay.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I must say I've greatly appreciated the kind of campaign he runs as a one-man army.
Yeah.
I think he has a couple of assistants,
Yeah.
so it may be a three-man army.
Yeah.
But I think it's very rare to find somebody like that
Okay.
in a whole state.
Yeah.
I know somebody else like that in Delhi, for example,
Okay.
Dr. Jayashree Gupta,
Okay.
who also runs a consumer organization.
Yeah.
Single woman army,
Okay.
doing fantastic work, just like Roland.
Yeah.
But this is not enough.
Yeah.
Roland is doing the right thing by having got the cooperation of schools. He is running school camps,
Yeah.
college camps, And by doing this, he's spreading the message, especially to the youth,
Yeah.
so that that message will spread further and further and further.
Yeah.
Extremely good. But, you know, he and people like him must get support from the government,
Yeah.
from the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, must have the support of, let's say, inspectors to be trained by the consumer organization, like CRC does
Yeah.
for the Ministry of Environment.
Yeah.
These kind of cooperations must exist, not just exist, but must grow,
Yeah.
must be nurtured until consumerism becomes, like in England,
Yeah.
a kind of byproduct
Yeah.
of society. I
So,
mean,
so basically you are talking about a full-fledged setup with
Yes.
regard to consumer rights,
That's
which would create awareness programs, which would have training programs, which would train especially students, and finally do research, file consumer complaints,
Yes.
and conscientize the people,
Yes.
and set forth an entire segment of society which is aware of the consumer rights.
that's right.
Yeah.
You know, few of the things that CRC does will be needed in Goa.
Yeah.
24-hour
Helpline.
Helpline.
Helpline, you mentioned it.
You know, training programs
Yeah.
for government people,
Yeah.
training programs for schools
Yeah.
and colleges,
Yeah.
everywhere to take the message,
Yeah.
and the government itself and the ministry to be firm in the penalty and fast in the execution.
Okay.
Very important.
Okay.
Goa being smaller, more manageable,
Yeah.
it would be a shame if we can't make this an ideal example
Okay.
of what consumerism should be in this country.
Okay. And I also think that we should have a testing lab, because the FDA takes an enormous amount of time to get back on consumer.
Because they're
complaints.
short-staffed.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
They're short-staffed.
Yeah. Okay. So, we had this privilege on World Consumer Rights Day to have Mr. Walter Viera, the chairman of the Consumer Education and Research Society, with us to share his thoughts and to create more awareness and the need for this strengthening this awareness in Goa. We thank you, Mr. Viera, for being on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank
Very
you.
nice, Dr. Fernandez.
Thank you. So, this was our program Goa Wants to Know on the occasion of Consumer Rights Day. We hope that you enjoyed this program. Keep watching Herald TV.